Hello everybody and welcome to Night Ghost 49 as we play Heroes of the Storm. We are in week 3 of the Studio Rumble match here on Night Ghost 49. Now, today we have Ubisoft Montreal squaring off against Solo Q. And if we look at the different teams, I can go ahead and tell you real quick who's who. Alright, the red team is Ubisoft Montreal. The blue team is Solo Q. Oh, look at that Leoric skin. Somebody's playing some Leoric these days. Let's go ahead and look at those first talents real quick just to get an idea of what everybody's doing. Rhaegar went with Healing Totem. We've got Reanimation on Leoric. Lost Souls, which is the cooldown on the Shadow Dagger. Reinforcement. Our Johanna has decided not to go with the wave clear. We have a huge engagement here with Solo Q, and Ubisoft Montreal has already lost Kael'thas. He's so squishy. He wasn't able to get away with that team engagement, and it's so funny to see people fight over this tower. It's a bit of a death trap sometimes. And, oh! Jane is being caught out of position with Malfurion and Muradin. At least they're on the same team, guys. We'll be able to get that right this time around. Fighting here in the middle lane. Now, Malfurion and Muradin are going to be just terrible to deal with. Rhaegar is going to be able to heal up Jaina, but they're not as tanky. And with the Root and the Flame Strike, that was going to be one heck of a hit. Luckily, Solo Q was able to get out of the way. Now, if we look here, Ubisoft Montreal is hitting the treasure chest here right away. They're going to be able to get an advantage. And if we look at the bottom lane, it looks like only Zagara for Ubisoft Montreal is grabbing those. Now, Jaina is taken down on Team Solo Q, and Kael'thas uses his tornado to actually disengage, and he needs to be very, very careful. Leoric and Rhaegar can come in there and actually do quite a bit of damage. And it looks like, yep, it looks like Zagara, uncontested, took this entire treasure chest by herself. That goes to show the sheer DPS that Zagara can have, and her lane presence that she can bring to the table right away. You can't let a Zagara stay by herself. And this right here is the ultimate matchup. Sylvanas pushing against a Zagara. Sylvanas coming in, doing her Black Arrow, stunning all of the minions, but taking a ton of damage from the enemy team Zagara. Nitro here on Team Ubisoft Montreal is doing a good job of focusing down Sylvanas every time she's in range. If we look at the middle of the map, we've got kind of an even spread here. The experience is very even, with Ubisoft Montreal jumping a little and then Solo Q coming back a bit. So it seems to be a little bit of trade back and forth. Johanna is holding down this top lane. Vala is actually roaming Norwenna, roaming to see if he can actually get any kind of kills coming on in this top lane or mid, and is running down to the bottom because she already has 2 coins and is actually going for the turn-in. Leoric's coming in here, sees this. Vala goes and shoots Leoric to get him off of his mount, and was able to get away without really much of an incident. So if we look here in the middle lane, we've got Malfurion and Kael'thas going back and forth. Malfurion is probably infusing Kael'thas with the Tranquility. Oh, that's not Tranquility. It's a regenerative spell that gives him mana. It's something that's unique. It's his trait that he can use to bring back mana. So pairing him with a Kael'thas is actually a really, really good idea. It's well thought out. It's a good team comp. And Ubisoft Montreal is going to definitely have some good engagements that way. Now, Muradin is able to use Dwarf Toss to get out of there. He does stun Johanna just to give her a little poke and say, stay away from my lane. Now, we do have Kael'thas coming in here on Jaina again. Jaina's taking a bit of damage, but Rhaegar's here and he's going to be able to heal her up, and they'll be just fine as long as there's no ganks coming in that lane. Leoric is coming up from the bottom, probably going to support his team right here and push back this wave, but he started to go on a Kael'thas and did back up. We do have a ping here for the Doubloons camp. You can take out these minions and actually get more doubloons to turn in to do Blackheart's Bay, the big cannons that come down and take out forts. Very similar to the map with the temple. Excuse me. Not the Spider Queen, Sky Temple. There we go. My brain is not doing too well today. And as we look right here, let's go ahead and take a look at hero damage. Zagara is actually doing 10,000 siege damage, 2,000 hero damage, almost the top for Team Ubisoft Montreal, forcing Sylvanas to actually go back. And Sylvanas has done 11,000 siege damage, and not quite as much hero damage. She's been focusing more on sieging, whereas Zagara is actually focusing on hitting her even more, which makes her be pushed back. Now, if we look at the total coins, we have 3 coins for Solo Q and 7 coins for Ubisoft Montreal. Both of these do not have, they don't have enough to turn in currently, so they're fighting over here in the middle, getting a bit of dominance, and they're probably doing this just to hold down the middle when the actual chest spawn. Now Jane is taking a ton of damage. Muradin is following her, but she's going to slow him down, and he's surrounded and probably going to be able to be taken down. Definitely, and they grab his coins. So Solo Q now has 7 coins to their name, and Ubisoft Montreal now has 5. Now, Vala's coming in here, going to do a little bit of damage, but probably needs to back out. Even with Malfurion here supporting her, Sylvanas and Rhaegar will probably be able to push them back. They have a good... Anyway, Rhaegar with any team comp is really going to be good. So he can just pop into his wolf form and back away. And Team Solo Q now has 11 coins. They can do at least 1 turn in and get themselves ready for the next. They are currently slightly ahead of Ubisoft Montreal in XP. And there's going to be a little poking back and forth here for the teams. Now, something that's really smart is Lobo, or was it Lobo that is Zagara? I don't think that is actually. I think it's Nitro. Nitro has actually gone ahead and put down these creep tumors. These creep tumors are giving him vision of every bit of movement from the enemy team. They're sitting here in the smoke and they're being seen. Now, one thing that's great about that, not only is Nitro giving the team vision, but he's also forcing Team Solo Q to actively kill those creep tumors, and that takes up mana, that takes up time, and that makes them use their actions per minute to actually focus down something that really is just giving vision. It's not actually doing any team kills or anything like that. Now Rhaegar's taking a ton of damage, but he is able to heal and back away. Malfurion was coming in there with a stun, and Nitro is extremely low. Zagara needs to heal up real quick. She's going to go back and actually hit the pool and then get right back into the fight. Muradin is very low, but Malfurion does heal him. There's a little bit of body blocking going on here in the middle. They need to back off and be very, very careful. Now, keep in mind when Muradin is out of combat, he does regenerate health passively very, very quickly. We'll go ahead and check on the stats here as well. Now, Team Solo Q did go ahead and turn in their coins here to the captain, and he's going to start bombarding this middle camp here. The towers are gone. The wall is gone. They're going to go for the fort and the tower sitting right here and going to do some devastating damage. Kael'thas is squaring off against Leoric. Leoric's going to be just fine, and watch how he's probably going to come in here with a Q and just clear this whole wave. There we go. Leoric is very good at clearing waves. Go down here at the bottom. Zagara is continually putting as much pressure as possible with the team of 4 sitting here at the bottom. Very dangerous engagement. Now, Malfurion and Muradin are coming here getting camps. This is the right thing they need to do. They need to catch up on coins. They don't have enough to turn in, but now actually now they totally do. They have 4 coins. They only need 3. They're going to come over here and look. Muradin zoning for the team, coming in here, keeping enemy players away, while Malfurion turns in coins. We're going to battle that all day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be tongue-tied with Malfurion and Muradin. Wow, there we go. Now, Team Solo Q is about a full level ahead, and they have ultimates. They need Ubisoft Montreal needs to be very careful. We see Johanna's Divine Shield come out there, not Divine Shield, come out there and actually trap the enemy team. Leoric comes in for a nice capture, and he puts down Entomb on the entirety of those 2 teammates. Everybody is getting very low. Are they going to be able to get away? Is Malfurion going to be able to actually heal his teammates? I don't think so, and they're taking so much damage with Jaina being slowed, and Vala wasn't able to do enough to deter them away. So 2 of the Team Ubisoft Montreal do go down. We've got Malfurion and Muradin down on this team. They need to be very careful in these next engagements. They do have level 10 talents, but they are at a disadvantage, and Zagara is probably going to be surrounded. As she pokes away at the camp, she gets him off on one of the enemy team. Is she going to be able to get away? This creep tumor is giving her a lot of speed, but it's not quite enough with the Banshees from Sylvanas coming in and grabbing her, and also clearing off those creep tumors as well. So Malfurion and Muradin, they are back. This bottom camp is being taken over by Team Solo Q, and they're going to be able to push this with the siege camp. Johanna's coming in here, zoning out a little bit for the enemy team, and able to deter them away ever so slightly. We see Kael'thas actually pushing at the top, grabbing even more XP for his team, and the rest of the team Ubisoft Montreal is going to push this middle and try to get rid of the siege camp as well. They did lose the wall, but they have not lost the towers, so advantage currently going to Team Solo Q. Keep in mind, this can turn very quickly by turn-ins from the camp, but Team Solo Q is able to turn in 1 more set of coins. It went from 10 to 12. They have to turn in even more each time that you turn them in. Now Malfurion put down a sentry drone. This will allow him to actually have additional vision. These are very smart on this map. It's an ability that he has to basically do what Zagara does, but only a couple times. Oh, we've got a team engagement here in the middle. I missed it already. Leoric went down, and so did Jaina. Rhaegar is actually trapped out here. Did he go with Ancestral Healing? Even if he did, it was probably on cooldown. He was taken down. We have Avatar from Muradin, just doing some damage. Now, Johanna just cares nothing about this team and comes in and does as much damage as possible. She's just tanking. She's like, okay, that's fine. You got a Hydralisk? I'm just going to sit here and tank you. She did go with Rage. She's doing damage to everything around her. And now the chests have spawned. Team Ubisoft Montreal coming in with the advantage of taking out the enemy team and getting that one camp, the first camp. Now they're pushing away Sylvana. She's not able to go against two. And Johanna's just coming in here saying she wants her coins. You know, Johanna players are crazy. If you play her well, you can just be so ballsy. And she's being body blocked currently. Now that was actually a really good move by Leoric. He blocked the enemy team, kind of sacrificed himself because he got caught there in the middle. He is going to be taken down. Remember, I say it almost every match because a lot of people still don't know Leoric gives full XP when he dies. So, Team Ubisoft Montreal has 13 coins. That's one over what they need to actually turn in. And Team Solo Q, they're going to try to poke here, but they're probably not going to be able to stop this turn in. And this is what I'm talking about. You can actually turn the entirety of the match on its head by pushing in and actually turning in coins. It's 13 to 13. There's still about a 3/4 of a level advantage to Team Solo Q. But as you can see, it's already turned around a little bit. So they're doing a bit of damage here. Leoric and Team Solo Q grab this Bruiser camp to push top. Bottom is being tushed. It's being pushed by Kael'thas and Malfurion. They did come in here with the Phoenix and zone out Sylvanas. But Sylvanas can probably hold this very well by herself for a bit. Excuse me. And it looks like, yeah, Rhaegar did go with Ancestral Healing. I was just double checking here a few things here. We've got some standard stuff. Blessed Shield is what Johanna went with as well. Zagara's pushing back this push here at the top lane, gaining some more XP for the team. And it looks like Ubisoft Montreal is kind of waiting for the gank. They've got the scouting drone here. They're putting Kael'thas out here in the open, like tempting the team to go for it. But Solo Q was actually able to come up here and get the boss. That is a huge win. While the money, the coins are down, they've actually went and got the boss with just 4 of them. And Sylvanas did go down and leave her 2 coins, which means they're almost on even footing between Ubisoft Montreal and Team Solo Q. Now Zagara's already here, able to do a bit of damage, but Team Solo Q is actually putting pressure elsewhere. Johanna's probably going to come up here and go with, probably going to go with the boss, and then the rest of the team is going to get more coins. They're going to get siege minions. Everybody has actually used their hearth to come back. They're going to lose this wall, but they're probably not going to lose the towers, honestly, because they reacted so quickly. And they kept the wall as well. So Ubisoft Montreal coordinating quite well to fend off this boss and really nullifying the efforts of Team Solo Q. They will have to deal with the Bruiser camp, or the siege camp coming at the bottom, and they are going to have to deal with almost enough for a bombardment. They have 10, they need 14, and they already had 3 in, so that's only going to give 14. Oh, they have 1 player with 3. I'm like, why didn't you turn in? So they have 4 more coins that they do need. And if they come down here, they're going to be able to push this with Bruiser camp as well. Looks like Vala for Team Ubisoft Montreal is going to help this Bruiser camp push along. And they're roaming in this middle lane here, probably waiting for these chests to spawn so they can get more coins. But Zagara is actually pinging down here. They need to defend this keep. They've got enemy players actually coming up here, pushing with the camp. Oh, and we've got Ice Form coming out from Jaina. She actually saves herself, drops down the Elemental, but Vala's able to go in and do tons of damage, but if she's not careful, that Water Elemental is going to wreck her day. And it looks like Johanna is cornered, but she does use her trait to actually block all that damage. Now, Malfurion, or not Malfurion. Oh, is she going to die from Kael'thas Living Bomb? And she does! That is a good takeaway from Mr. Lobo there, coming in and doing that last bit of damage to take out Johanna. Johanna is so difficult to take out, and of almost a full team wipe going on here. Now, Leoric always shows up on the map even though he's dead, because he's a ghost and he kind of does whatever he wants. And Sylvanas is roaming around looking to see if anybody's coming in here to turn in coins. Now, Team Ubisoft Montreal has 17 coins. They can totally turn in, and they are already coming in for it. Now, will Zagara turn in, or will she zone out for the team? It looks like she zoned a little bit, got a little bit more vision here in the smoke, and they're probably going to be able, yeah, with Malfurion coming in and turning in his coins, he's going to be able to make the bombardment go against Team Solo Q. And as we've seen, Ubisoft Montreal is now in the lead. They are level 17. The other team is level 16. They do have the same level of talents, but, you know, that gives you a bit of a health and mana advantage. I love Blackheart. He just, like, runs his trap. Now, this is exactly what you need to do. You've already got the advantage. Paint the map red in this case. And what did they do? They did that with the top lane with the bruiser camps. They're doing it with the bottom lane with the siege camps. There's no other camps up here to take. There are some bruisers that are some doubloon guys that they can take over here, but that doesn't give them minions. It looks like Leoric is trapped in the enemy team Vala, but the Maw is coming down and doing tons of damage. And is the rest of the team going to be able to follow up? They do back off and play it safe. And they keep their teammates alive. They do have a Sylvanas coming in here and silencing the majority of the team, which is very dangerous. And Muradin is coming in doing a bit of damage, tanking some of that. And oh, Jane is coming in and hit by the Banelings in the last second and almost taken out. And Johanna's coming in to actually appeal for the team. Lots of team fights going back and forth. This is definitely the time to have this. And this is where it is even more crucial to stay alive. Dying at this stage, anything past about 17, especially into the level 20, you're going to be down for like 60 seconds, which is huge. So huge. Now, Leoric is seen by Malfurion, or by Muradin. Oh, it's like a speech impediment for characters. I am so sorry. And they're not going to actually push the advantage here. They're going to zone for the team because they have 13 coins to turn in, which is not quite enough to get a bombardment. But they can do it now while the chests are not up and active. All right, so they actually need 3 more coins. Team Solo Q needs 4 more coins. And it looks like Leoric is actually trying to gather as many as he can. They have 7 total. He was going for that doubloon camp, trying to get a couple more. And there goes the Blessed Shield coming down. And Leoric coming in with a trap on the Entomb, but he is melted down by the entirety of Ubisoft Montreal. The Silence Arrow comes down, doesn't do too much because they're out of position. They are going to push back against Solo Q. Leoric is actually dead for a good... Well, Leoric's Q is actually different. As he does damage, his Q shortens for him coming back to life. So it's not really the most accurate thing to look up. Now, the boss is currently up. Team Ubisoft Montreal could totally go for this. They're pushing back these bruiser camps as well, making sure that they don't have anything pushing that top lane, because they have all their keeps, but so does Team Solo Q. So the levels are a bit different. They're still about 2 off, but talent-wise, they're the same. Keep-wise, they're the same. And they're able to trade very evenly with each team. But Team Solo Q has actually got a turn in. Because Ubisoft Montreal went for the boss, they lost the opportunity to either defend or turn in themselves. Because they do have 4 coins, which was enough for them to actually turn in and get a bombardment of their own. Now this middle keep is probably, well, it's going to take a lot of damage. I think it takes 2 to 3 hits for a tower to be taken down. 2 hits. All right, so we've got 2 hits there. Take this tower down. That one's going to go down as well. They've only got 3 cannonballs. So this keep is going to stand, but it's not going to have a lot of health. And I don't think anybody took Mule on this match, so there's not going to be any healing of that. So the boss is going to push this top lane with the entirety of Ubisoft Montreal with it. Oh, no, we don't. We actually have Vala here defending with Zagara, and they do get a kill. Leoric is taken down, and Jaina. Man, that Zagara, she is deceptively powerful. She can push in, do enemy damage. She doesn't just push lanes, and she can do a ridiculous amount of damage. In fact, she went ahead and went with Bolt of the Storm to give herself mobility at level 20. Malfurion went with a second skill for Serenity, which is that Tranquility ability. They are still pushing down here, actually going straight for the core. Leoric is defending quite well, but it looks like Ubisoft Montreal has decided to back up. They got their keep. They're going to be able to back off. And they did lose 1 keep of their own with that push. So even though Team Solo Q did lose 2 players, they did get a keep out of it. So, you know, weigh that against the options here. But look, Rhaegar is still down. Their 1 healer is still completely out of the match. And Sylvanas is taken down. Sorry, I just missed who that was. That was Sylvanas. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I saw somebody else go down. I thought I missed something. All right, so Team Ubisoft Montreal definitely in the advantage right now. They have a level lead. They have a player advantage lead. Looks like Kael'thas is clearing this out and also going for the chests as well. They have free reign to turn in when he spawns, which he did, and they did turn in. So they're actually going to focus in this middle keep. This keep will go down. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Bottom lane, keep will not go down, but the towers will definitely take a ton of damage and probably be taken out. Now, Leoric is trying to defend, and he uses a little creepy walk to get away, which is good. He doesn't need to feed the enemy team at this level either. And Zagara and Muradin go ahead and take the siege camp. The siege camp on top of the cannons coming in is going to be completely devastating. But the minions are coming in, and they don't have a wave coming with them. The bruiser camp is coming up, so they will be able to help. I've never noticed, but they have actual anchors in their hands, like axes and pickaxes. That's kind of interesting. Now, Kael'thas is sitting up here. probably waiting for the enemy team to come in and turn in some of his own. He has 7 coins, so he's going to be able to... They have 24 total. They have enough to actually turn in. So will Team Ubisoft Montreal come in here and turn these in? Because Team Solo Q had to deal with that Siege camp and the Bruiser camp. And look, he's actually going to try to zone, but they can just walk past it with Team Solo Q coming in and doing quite a bit of damage. The Maw does come down, and the Entomb comes down. Actually, a defensive Entomb, excuse me. And we've got a Silence Arrow coming in here in the middle, but it does miss the Tranquility from Malfurion, which is a big miss. Leoric comes in, tries to go in this back line. Lobo's actually super low. Leoric does go down. Lobo's probably going to be taken out by Johanna, which she does. She gets Storm Shield on herself. But Muradin is having none of that. He's just going to chase her down with Malfurion and Zagara surrounding her on all sides. So she is going to be taken down. Even with her trait coming out, look how tanky she is, guys. That is amazing that she can take that much damage. It takes 3 heroes using ultimates and everything they have to take her down. She is definitely a solid tank. Team Solo Q is completely down. They've had a full wipe. And the cannons take down all of the shields except for 5% of the health. Ubisoft Montreal is going to come in here and definitely have a win. So this was a solid game from both teams. Some really good coordination, a lot of back and forth. An early advantage from Team Solo Q, and then regrouping from Ubisoft Montreal, coming in and doing a massive amount of damage, picking off players. Oh, look at the Entomb! Leoric's pissed. He's going to come in here. So good game, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Let's go ahead and we're going to go over the talents as we go into the score screen for this, because it's not a replay. Excuse me. A little hoarse here. My apologies. All right, so red team, Team Ubisoft Montreal, did pull out the win in this match, and we had a fantastic match from Solo Q. We went with they went with Rhaegar, Leoric, Sylvanas, Johanna, and Jaina. And if we look at the stats here, Rhaegar healed for 43,000, Malfurion healed for 46, so some nice even footing there for both teams. Sylvanas did the most siege damage, which makes perfect sense. Looks like Jaina did the most hero damage, which also makes good sense. 56,000 damage was absorbed by Johanna, which is so much more than Muradin. Johanna is just a pure tank. Muradin can do some damage, he can stun, and he's a very good tank. And Mr. Lobo saying thanks for the stream. Hey, thank you for letting us stream this on Studio Rumble. And if we look at the Ubisoft Montreal team, Kael'thas did almost 100,000 damage. He was doing quite a bit of damage with his AoE. He was able to grab that's siege damage, excuse me. That's siege damage, Night Ghost. And then Vala did the most damage, which I'm a little surprised because Zagara got a ton of takedowns, 14, but Vala did get 19, so she was working it. So 21 kills versus the 10. Let's go ahead and take a look at the talents. Now, this time around, since we don't have a match right after, I'm going to go through each talent. Not super long, but we'll go through each talent and not just cruise through them like we normally been doing. Excuse me. My apologies. I had a little bit of a tickle in my throat. 'Tis the season, I suppose. We're getting up on this a little bit. So Rhaegar went with Healing Totem to give players an area to go back to. Something difficult to target, but easy to kill. We went with Feral Heart, which is, I think, a great talent. Health and mana regeneration at 75% when he goes into Ghost Wolf. So he can sustain himself. I don't even know if he ever went back for the healing well. At least I didn't see him do it, because he can sustain himself by just popping into the wolf form. He went with Earth Shield. It absorbs damage. So he went with a more support role. He wanted to stay in those fights. He went with Ancestral Healing, which is his ultimate. He went with Healing Surge, which heals more on the primary target. He went with Earth Grasp Totem, so his other totem that he can throw down besides the Healing Totem to support his team even more. And he went with Storm Shield, which this Rhaegar went with a complete team-centric build. He went to support his teammates. He didn't go for damage. He didn't go for pure healing. He went for a nice hybrid build that kept his team alive quite a bit. We have Reanimation from Leoric. We have Willing Vessel. Now, this increases the healing from Drain of Hope by 30% of your maximum health. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. Lobo. Very. He said he hopes it was entertaining. I thought it was a fantastic match. I'll go through these a little quicker. Sorry. Anyway. Ocean Renewal is basically like a first aid for Leoric. It's not as strong as first aid, but it's a good one. He went with Entomb. Honestly, we saw some very good Entombs coming out of this Leoric player after Hazard Man. So kudos to him. He went with Burning Rage, which is good for tanks. Consuming Vitality, and then he went with the Spectral Leech. Sylvanas went with Lost Souls, Paralysis, which increases the duration of black arrows, which is very difficult to deal with. Unstable Poison. She went with the Wailing Arrow, which is a silencing arrow. She went with Overwhelming Affliction, Cold Embrace, and Deafening Blast, which increases the explosion taken by 50% more. See ya, man. Thanks again. Yeah, those guys at Ubisoft Montreal are actually extremely nice. I had the opportunity to chat with them. They're really good guys. Johanna didn't go with the lane push build. She definitely went for more damage and more team control. So she went with Reinforcement, Laws of Hope, which heals. Battle Momentum, as she hits, she can use her abilities more. Blessed Shield to lock down enemy teams. Burning Rage to do even more damage as she's sitting in the middle of the fights. Holy Renewal. And Indestructible. Basically, it's a free death, and she can hold off enemy attacks even after she's taken more damage than she should. It's kind of ridiculous. Jaina took some Deep Chill, which gives her even more crowd control and slowing down the enemy team even more. Envenom, which does damage over time. Frostbitten, the Water Elemental, which we saw used quite a few times. Improved Ice Block, which saved her a handful of occasions on those team fights. Northern Exposure, and then also Bolt of the Storm, which gave her that versatility that she needed. Kael'thas for Team Ubisoft Montreal with Mana Addict, giving him more overall mana. And then Gathering Power, Fission Bomb, Phoenix. We saw him zoning out quite a few times, keeping out the enemy team from gathering either, turning in the coins or the chests. And then Flamethrower for increased range of Flame Strike. And then Living Bomb, or Ignite, which adds Living Bomb when he does Flame Strower. And Flame Strike. I don't even know what I said. Flame Strower. We've got Bolt of the Storm here as well to give him that added mobility. Vala went with Siphoning Arrow, Puncturing Arrow, and Repeating Arrow. So she had tons of mobility and lots of damage, so she could do even more attacks by not using as much mana. Wait, no, that increases range in this one. This one returns health. And then she went with Strafe, which is actually a good mobility ultimate that does tons of damage to everyone around her. Frost Shot, which slows enemies. And Blood for Blood to give her a little bit of health, do more damage to the enemy team. And then the second talent for Strafe as well. Muradin went with Perfect Storm, Sledgehammer, Piercing Bolt, and Avatar. So lots of damage, good tanking. Went with Burning Rage, Heavy Impact, Dwarf Toss also stuns. And then Rewind, so he could use his avatar, go in and fight, rewind, do it again, and really just sustain in those fights. Malfurion went with the Scouting Drone. We saw him using those quite a bit throughout the match to keep vision within the smoke and watch out for those objectives. He went with Rampant Growth, Strangling Vines, Tranquility for healing, Life Seed, which does healing every now and then to players around him, Hindering Movement, which slows targets when he hits with Moonfire, which is a great ability to lock down enemy players. And then the second level for Serenity. And lastly, we had Zagara. Zagara went with Health Restoration bonus on creep, increased by 200%. We saw that in action a couple times when she should have died, but her health regeneration barely saved her. And Venom Spikes, which is more of a single target damage. She went with Rapid Incubation, which allowed her to sustain herself in the lane. Devouring Maw, which you saw a few really good Maws in there. Mutalisk instead of the Hydralisk. Brood Expansion, which held 2 charges of the Mutalisks, and then also Bolt of the Storm. So lots of mobility, lots of damage, some good team comps coming out between the two. I would like to think they're both pretty evenly matched. So thanks everybody for joining in this particular match. I thought it was a very good one. We'll have some more matches to come. A few people are sending me more replays, so we'll be able to actually get these bad boys taken care of. And I'd like to say thank you to everybody at Studio Rumble. Thank you to all the teams that have decided to participate in this and allow me to stream. And thanks to Blizzard, because they're put together a great game that we can all enjoy. So that'll be it for this recording, and I'll see you guys next time.